And it's crashed everything. Oh, wait, hang on, it's on the air live. And Mike's fucked off. I go live, and he fucks off.
Just start without him.
I'm here.
I love anyone watching the YouTube who's going to watch me now eat a pizza.
Quality viewing.
I know, right?
We were walking to NXT at this time last week. Oh, were we in NXT? What
We're
time?
in NXT at this point.
Oh, yeah. By the way, NXT title ripped in half.
What?
Already?
Yeah, it didn't survive the first ladder match apparently.
Still kind of pissed, to be honest, that even though we were there and available, I've still not been bought my season 1 title. I was told that if I went to NXT, he wouldn't get me the title, he would pay for my NXT ticket. I've got none! Oh well, maybe where you are.
He did, however, pay for a £40 round of beers, so maybe while we were
Oh, right, yeah, fair enough.
Too much money spent that night. Anyway, everyone ready? We are live. Cool. What episode title? What episode is this?
I've gone with 37, but I don't know if that's right.
It's 37 if we actually get up all of the rest of the podcasts that we've got recorded.
37 it is. Cool. Right. 3, 2, 1.
Mark.
Hello everybody, welcome to another episode of the Out of Nowhere podcast. If you haven't heard us recently, that's sadly due to some technical issues on our website, but they have been live and streaming up on YouTube. So yeah, if that happens again, go watch them on YouTube, 8:30 every Wednesday. Anyway, this is Out of Nowhere. We discuss the latest in WWE, and with me today we have Stevie Allen.
Hello.
We got Chelsea Edgerton.
Hey.
And we have Michael Allen.
Good evening, sir.
What a couple of days it's been in wrestling, from the Money in the Bank pay-per-view to a cash-in to title changes to returns, possible returns, and even a suspension, which we'll get into in just a moment. Overall thoughts, let's start this off on Money in the Bank itself as a pay-per-view. Are you happy coming out of it? Were you disappointed? Stevie, why don't you go first? What are your thoughts of the Money in the Bank event?
I was happy, mainly for the Dean Ambrose cash-in at the end. It's one of those things. I'd be terrible at winning it. I think I said this in the last podcast. I would immediately cash it in regardless. I'm too excitable. I'd just have it in my hands for like 30 seconds and I'd be cashing in straight away. So from that point of view, I'm glad he just went and cashed in, especially when he said he was going to do. The main matches. So the main event, Roman and Seth, the Money in the Bank, and AJ and Cena were all fantastic. I thought the rest of the show was quite mediocre, but all in all, those three definitely made it a worthwhile pay-per-view, and the cashing in of the title of the Money in the Bank and Ambrose coming out on top did send it over the top for me. So yeah, overall, a good solid pay-per-view.
Mike, would you agree with that? Would you say, like, bar the three big matches that we're all kind of looking forward to, the rest was rather mediocre, or were you more excited coming out of it?
It was a bit mediocre, wasn't it? And the Money in the Bank ladder match itself was missing something. I don't know what quite that was. It just didn't have the extreme factor that they've had in the past, and I don't know if that's just me or my expectations, but that's certainly what it seems like in my head. And then the main event picture of them was sadly just a little bit too predictable, because once the Money in the Bank winner won, I think we kind of all knew then, because first of all it had been said so on Raw that if he does, he's going to do that. So watching that, I mean, I only really had one question in my mind going through it when I was watching that, and it's with Roman Reigns, Seth Rollins, and Dean Ambrose. Fuck, marry, stun.
Oh, Chelsea has not answered the question so far. Why don't you go first on this one?
Oh, I just get to answer that question.
You do indeed.
Okay, that's easy. That's quite tough.
So for anybody who doesn't know what the game is, fuck, marry, stun. You have to fuck one, you have to marry one, and you have to stun the other. So
All right,
simple,
who
really.
talking? I'll go. I'll go.
Right. Okay.
I'll go.
I've got it. Okay,
The
I'd fuck,
shields. The shields, Steve.
fuck Dean Ambrose, marry Seth Rollins, kill Roman Reigns.
No, we're not killing. We're stunning. Jesus.
Okay, shit. Same thing. Okay, yes, stun Roman Reigns. Got a bit ahead of myself.
Go on, Stevie. You go. Who would you do?
Yeah, I could only handle one night with Dean Ambrose. I reckon too crazy for my liking long term. Roman Reigns too big. Roman Reigns is too big. I'm not accepting that. So I'll marry Seth.
Stevie's thinking that he would be the bottom in any of those three situations.
Steve,
we don't know what drugs Roman's taking, so I'm staying well clear.
I was just gonna suggest that the drugs that he's taking might loosen things up a bit, so you might be all right.
Well, I think that's going to take us nicely into obviously the big topic of the day. Is
Ollie.
in yellow.
You have not answered.
You have not answered.
Oh, I've not answered. Seth, fuck.
Don't think about it too much. I don't.
Stun Reigns. If Renee Young can handle Dean Ambrose, then he can't be all that bad.
Oh, true.
Someone actually thought about this logically.
Well, moving on to what we hinted at earlier is the suspension of Roman Reigns, the week's biggest news, really, coming out soon after the Raw finished. We heard that Roman Reigns had been suspended via the wellness policy and suspended for 30 days. The question is, and the rumours are, that this was something that, first of all, the WWE knew about before even Money in the Bank, and B, that the rumours that the Battleground main event is still going to be the triple threat. Chelsea, I'll come to your thoughts on this first. Would you still be happy with that triple threat taking place, even with the suspension, or...?
Well, I just think it's, like you say, with the rumours going around that they knew about it before Money in the Bank, it's obvious that they've slotted it in perfectly so we can still be in that triple threat, because it doesn't coincide with Battleground, does it?
No, so...
And like 4 days before.
Yeah, the 30 days end on the 21st, the Battleground's on the 24th, but the draft is on the 19th, so you'll miss the draft, but we'll be back for Battleground.
But could you imagine if it was like Titus O'Neil? Like
he'd be gone for 60 days.
Yeah, exactly, and they've just pussyfooted around it. So to be honest, I don't think it's that bad. He's probably just done some weed or something, and.
Well, he's come out and apologised for it, so he's clearly done something he shouldn't have been.
Well, I think the fact that it's like only 30 days just says to me that Vince doesn't give a fuck about it.
It's not 30 days isn't just their opinion. They have a very clear discipline. It's 30 days for the first, 60 for the second, 90 for the third, 4th you're out. So that's why. I mean, it's his first infraction. So
and like looking into it further, there's like all sorts that he could have been on. I mean, there's even stuff that you can get prescribed from your doctor. It's still a part of their wellness violation policy, and there was an interview with Hornswoggle, I believe, where he said he got his because he just couldn't piss when they asked him to, so they suspended him for it. That was considered a violation.
That's the reason then. He just couldn't have a piss.
It's just too big.
It's interesting, I think, that if he did know about it prior to the Raw, which we saw him get a little tetchy with the fans at during his promo with Dean Ambrose, is this finally the shot in the arm or the wake-up call that WWE needs to go, actually, right, we've actually have got this wrong and we should probably listen to what everybody's been saying about the guy?
Well, they've been doing, the crowd's had that same reaction for months and months and months. So I don't see how that one night in particular could make them change their mind.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think they're going to change, Al?
No, I mean the suspension itself is going to be the changing of their opinions of how they're going to push Roman Reigns.
Oh right, I see. I don't think it'll matter at all. I think it will be a bit.
Really?
I think they're past that point, aren't they? They know what they want to do with Roman. I think whatever happens, they'll do what they want to do with Roman.
Won't that seem somewhat flying in the face of the entire reasoning for having the wellness policy in the first place?
That's what I was getting at. The fact it is Roman Reigns, they've just done that, and he'll be ready to go back for a triple threat at Battleground. Whereas if it was somebody lower down the card like Titus O'Neil or something, he wouldn't see TV for months.
I mean, even Randy Orton had to, he was never the same since when he obviously the numerous ones that he's had. He always seems to get a bit of a push down the card. You don't think that's going to be they're just going to keep plugging along, or?
Well, I don't want to say that Sky Bet know everything. But the day before Money in the Bank, he was set to win. He was the odds-on favourite, and their odds don't change that. They don't fluctuate that wildly. And the next day, it swung completely the other way. And Stephen checked as well. It was a massive favour of Seth Rollins winning that match.
Seth Rollins was 16-1 on. Bearing in mind this is a predetermined, event. It was 1-16. Sorry, not 16-1. Seth Rollins went as a 1-16 favourite into that match. So it came out overnight. There is no doubt about it. On that Saturday night, it was changed. What was planned was changed because me and Michael have been following the Sky Bet since WrestleMania, out of intrigue of the intrigue of being able to bet on something that's predetermined. And Sky Bet haven't been wrong in one match. I think I'm right there, Michael. In the last three pay-per-views, they've not had one result wrong. So there's no doubt in my mind that Roman Reigns was supposed to win. This came out, and they changed the whole thing.
And also, that tells me that I need to send an IOU or a demand to Roman Reigns because he gives me 50 quid. So, lost £60. So.
Did you get nothing when you put the second load of bets on?
No, because Roman Reigns fucked me up.
What a dick.
I know. So I'm gonna send him a little something. Drugs.
Coming at this from a different point of kind of trying to come back to what you say, how they're going to keep pushing Roman the same way. Surely because he said himself he does it for the kids, kind of that's what he doesn't do it for the guys.
The rest and all the drugs.
Yeah, he does all the drugs so the kids don't have to. He clearly doesn't do it for the guys who need to sip their beers, as he alluded to in the promo. But you can't surely then push a guy who has been doing drugs as a golden child babyface.
But the kids don't know that, do they?
No, but the kids are going to ask, where's Roman Reigns? And the parents are going to have to tell them, well, he did drugs. He's been suspended.
Yeah, I told every kid in school today who likes wrestling, everyone that I know, I went over, I was like, have you heard about Roman? They're like, no, what about him? They're like, he's suspended, he took drugs.
You horrible bastard.
No, but surely, you've got kids. If your child asks, where's Roman, what's happened to him?
I'll just say he's took drugs. He's done the crime. He's doing the time.
I can't see how they can keep pushing him as what they were doing before. It seemed wrong to me, very wrong. If they had the big corporate kid-friendly company, but
it just all depends what happens when he comes back, isn't it?
Mm.
Yeah, it all depends on who or how he attacks somebody, because during this time you can assume that the fan favourite is going to be Dean Ambrose, and then Roman just comes back and totally annihilates him on whatever show that can be. I don't know, will he be available for the SmackDown? No, he won't. That'll be the Tuesday. He's going to miss the go-home shows.
He misses the draft, yeah.
This is both. Oh, well, fuck him then.
So he doesn't get. So that picture I actually showed you, it's like Roman Reigns gets drafted to Total Divas, might actually come true.
Yeah,
very much so. Yeah.
I think I'd stop watching.
No, you wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't.
So I'd say you're just about to get Dean Ambrose. I doubt you're going to stop watching.
That's a very good point, actually. There was the last episode they had actually had Dean Ambrose in it.
I refuse to listen to this conversation. Move on.
Well, let's get to the Money in the Bank match itself then. The main event that was Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins. Your thoughts on the match itself? Did it excite you? Were you happy by it? Did it deliver how you thought it was going to? Mike?
Yeah, I enjoyed the match. It was fantastic, and that spear reversal into a pedigree. Sweet. Again, there was issues with Roman selling or lack thereof. Like, I can't remember what he took, but he just bounced straight back up into a Superman punch. I was like, oh, I can't suspend my disbelief this much, Roman. I just cannot do it. But it was a fun enough match to watch. It was just unfortunate for me that at that point I kind of assumed what was going to happen. But I suppose if I didn't want to do that, I should just stop thinking about it and just go into it with an open mind, I guess. But I took no enjoyment away from the match. The match was still fun to watch, and if anything, it was one of the better ones of the night.
Were you surprised by the clean finish to it? Like, there was no real shenanigans other than the ref bump, but Seth beat Roman clean.
Well,
the first one too, really.
I don't think it really matters, does it, with the fact that he got cashed in on straight away after.
That's still not the question. Though. It's more, was I surprised that it was? I guess I was. If any, I really expected just to roll up to finish the night, But I guess I was a little surprised at that. But then at the same time, what shenanigans is Seth going to pull now without the authority behind him? A low blow, it's a bit meager now to just go for a low blow victory.
Well, Chelsea, moving on to what we saw on Raw, were you surprised they're bringing the triple threat forward so quickly? Before, obviously, we learned about the suspension.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I thought that would be because to be fair, that could main event SummerSlam easily.
What we all kind of spoke about, wasn't it, on the previous few pods?
Yeah, I think the only thing I take away from it is what's going to happen at Battleground because they're going to take it to SummerSlam. There's no way that they're just going to leave that Shield triple threat at Battleground. But no, really surprised. I thought we'd have that Seth and Roman match again at Battleground for the #1 contender sort of thing, and then have shenanigans for a triple threat. I'm happy about it. I just hope it's not a done and done because I would really like to see that at SummerSlam.
But does not make total crazy WWE thinking now. Though. If they knew about Roman and still booked this match to be a triple threat, why would they not have just put this next match to be a singles match?
And suspended him after the Sunday, after he dropped it.
Yeah, sure, exactly. And then he can just say he was taking hiatus for whatever reason, I don't know, got injured. And then SummerSlam can be the triple threat, and it's the first time we've seen it. I don't understand why we're getting it at Battleground.
Is it
maybe it's because they're getting split up because of the draft. That's the only thing I can think of.
Is it WWE having its cake and eating it too, almost? As if they knew beforehand, they thought, shit, we can only ever get this done at the next pay-per-view, otherwise no one's going to believe us pushing Roman Reigns into the SummerSlam main event so soon after suspension. So
They're just,
release the suspension afterwards, and then, we're hammed into this now.
I think Michael's probably more accurate there in the fact that they're all not going to be on the same brand. For SummerSlam, it's all right as wanting it for SummerSlam, and it's the more ideal place to have the three of them face each other. But we're not going to have all three of those on the same brand come SummerSlam. There's no chance. So this would, in theory, this is the only time that they can do the Shield match.
And then I guess this becomes which brand is going to claim the title match, rather than which superstar is going to come out the champ. Just which brand is going to get the title, if that turns out to be the case.
Yeah.
I'm sure we probably are going to see lots of that draft bickering, which titles are going to wear as we lead into the draft and obviously the Battleground pay-per-view. I'm sure the rest of the card's just going to be SmackDown versus Raw for titles.
Yeah, absolutely.
As they fall, with the draft being announced for the first live SmackDown on Tuesday, July 19th. So, possibly
it's literally going to be the first episode of SmackDown I ever stay up and watch.
Well, it'll be live. It'll be alright.
It's the only one you first can stay up and watch for, because none of the others are shown live.
That shows how much I know.
This whole thing, though, this whole thing with the general managers coming out, the past general managers, it's got me thinking. With Teddy Long and John Laurinaitis, and I'm sure Vicky Guerrero will be coming up next.
Bishop's coming, isn't he? Bishop's going to come, and he's going to be one of them.
Fuck Mary Stone, Bishop, Bishop, Teddy Long, and John Laurinaitis. Go.
I'd have to think about that one.
That's a toughie, that one, man. Big John! Oh, he's Big Steve, you won't like that. Big John. Big Johnny.
That's
This seems to be a difficult one for you.
Who have we got?
Teddy Long, Eric Bischoff, and John Laurinaitis.
I'm going to stun Teddy Long. I can't deal with him. I can't deal with that. I can't deal with player when we're in bed or whatever.
Holla holla.
Yeah. I can't
You
do
might
that.
give you some dollar if you holla holla.
Yeah, if you don't start time, you know it's going to put you up against the Undertaker, and that's not going to be pretty for anybody.
I wouldn't go with Teddy Long because you know what he'd do midway. Let's turn this into a tag match.
Depends on who we're tagging with, Michael. Let's not jump to conclusions.
Well, it's Eric Bischoff and John Laurinaitis.
Oh, right, okay. Oh, no, forget it then. Forget it. I don't think I can decide. I think we need to move on.
That spoils the game. Alright, more coming later.
Let's move into the, whilst we're talking about it already, the draft itself, with the reports that WWE have been reaching out to past WWE superstars. I mean, there's the rumours of Kurt Angle, there's the rumours of Goldberg, Rey Mysterio, John Morrison. There's been all sorts apparently in the past couple of weeks as they've realised, oh shit, we need to fill up 2 shows now.
I think the least likely one that I heard about was Jeff Hardy.
Jeff Hardy's been the one who's been most vocal about going back.
But he
No,
would
with
not
his
pass
track
the ball.
record. No, he can't even leave America, can he?
No, he can't. Every time TNA comes over to the UK, he's not allowed in the country.
Yeah, exactly. So no.
Is that for real?
Yeah.
Every time TNA tours in the UK, Jeff Hardy gets an injury. I'm not even kidding. You can go back and watch any. I wouldn't advise you to go back and watch TNA from. But it's true. But out of all the names that we've seen, has there been any that you really want to see back? I mean, we're getting Tajiri and the Brian Kendrick in the Cruiserweight Classic that starts in the next few weeks.
I'm real happy about Brian Kendrick.
Spanky?
The Brian Kendrick.
Who would I want back?
Kurt Angle would be a good shout, I think.
Yeah, but that's a last hurrah, isn't it? That's
Yeah,
not gonna be on.
definitely.
I don't want to see him in Scott. I want to see him when I go to ICW. You can't go back before then.
True.
Just
I really need to get tickets
to
for
get
ICW.
completely selfish for Fear and Loathing. Now.
We need to get some sort of press sorted for Fear and
Oh, yeah.
Right? Ross is Scottish. That'll do. That's enough of a tenuous link, right?
I don't think we can just grab the one Scottish guy we go and we know him, he's Scottish, let us in.
It's definitely worth a go.
Ross the Boss Miller, get it sorted.
He doesn't listen to us.
No, that's right, he doesn't.
But,
But who would I want back? Which superstar would I want back?
I mean,
Do you know what? I really liked John Morrison.
He's been doing great in Lucha Underground.
I really like John Morrison. I'd rather have him back from Lucha Underground than Alberto Del Rio.
That's been a waste.
You know what else is a waste?
Paige.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She got a championship match though at last.
She did.
She didn't win though.
Steve, what's that for? That's what you...
Fucking Del Rio, I can't believe it. Winds me up every week. Every week.
It's now my bit though, unfortunately. I need to get them both in the show.
It's got to the point though that everything he does annoys me now. Like yeah.
Yeah, pero! Alright, damn it. Oh, what, you're speaking Spanish now?
Chelsea, as I ask you then, would you rather have Kurt Angle and Brian Kendrick and John Morrison come back, or they call up Finn Balor, Samoa Joe, and Nakamura?
Come on.
What
Is that
even
the
kind of a question is that?
No, but
That's a
would you
clown
rather-
question, bro.
But would you rather see NXT raided or then bring back older guys? Is what I'm trying to get.
No, I'd rather than raid NXT.
This is the natural progression, isn't it? Like I don't get why they would go elsewhere and take older stars. Like for me, that's just completely the wrong way of doing it. There's so many, as we sort of spoke about a couple of podcasts ago, you've got to start. I think you've got to start treating like NXT as like a year, like almost like a season. And it gets to the end of that season, and then they get called up. There must be wrestlers waiting in the wings to get that development who will need it. And there's people now at NXT. Samoa Joe doesn't need to be there. Finn don't need to be there. Nakamura don't need to be there. And it'll be sad that they're not going to be on that, because it's kind of like, to all of us that watch NXT, it's almost like it's a little unknown in it, and the kind of like ours, like it's like almost like a bit of a secret to like network members and stuff like that. But they're too big now, and they're too developed to be on NXT. So why bring Kurt Angle back to deal with to sort of create Team America 2 or whatever they were called, with American Alpha.
Team America.
Yeah, that's what they're called. And they can do it by themselves. Do you know what I mean? There's no American Alpha don't need Kurt Angle.
No, but if you then call them Team America, I'll very much watch it.
What were they called?
The world's greatest tag team.
No.
Team Angle.
Oh, is that all it was, Team Angle?
And the world's greatest tag team.
Yeah.
Well, it should have been called Team America.
It would have made sense. They're all Americans.
Yeah.
And then it would have made more sense than Team Angle and the world's greatest tag. Is that the most generic name you've ever heard?
The world's greatest tag team.
Yeah.
Kind of like it.
I would rather see the likes of even some of the ones that I'm not particularly keen on, like for example, one that was like maybe not the Drifter, but Ty Dillinger as a perfect example is somebody who's clearly like he's not my cup of tea, to be honest, and he's not one of my favourites in NXT. But from watching watching him live last week, the way that he cut his promo as he was in the ring, the way that he wrestled, the way that he was over, like he just does it. He might as well be doing that on the main show for me, rather than just doing these recordings down at NXT. I would much rather see him come up and see whether he can make something of himself at the next stage than have Rey Mysterio come back.
Yeah, I agree completely with that, actually.
It's just when they bring old guys back, they're not gonna let them job out, really, are they? At least to begin with. So that again just takes everything away from all the other guys.
Depends if they do the NXT model of bringing these guys back. Like when they brought Rhino in, kind of he did. Of course they gave him a compliment, but his feud with Baron Corbin lost. So if they follow the NXT method, then I don't think it would be such a bad thing. And if you're getting AJ Styles versus Rey Mysterio, AJ Styles versus Kurt Angle again. Kurt Angle versus John
What about
Cena.
AJ Styles versus Nakamura instead?
But we're actually missing what the point of bringing them back is that it's TV ratings and then branding.
Yeah, and people are going to tune in to see Kurt Angle and Rey Mysterio.
Come back for SmackDown, where Rey Mysterio and Kurt Angle will be returning to tag team against Dave Bautista and The Undertaker, or we're going to have Roman Reigns versus some guy called Ty Dillinger. Unfortunately, that's the reality of it, is that they don't have the cachet to bring in TV ratings for a new live show.
I'd be very disappointed if that's like how they dealt with it, and I would, if I was an NXT superstar, I'd be pretty pissed off.
You would do, wouldn't you? Because this is the perfect opportunity for the perfect platform for these guys to come up, and you're absolutely right. It makes perfect sense for the NXT to be this breeding ground for the talent to come up and fill this roster. But is it going to happen?
Probably not. No, you're right. You're absolutely right. Yeah. I'm very much blue sky thinking there. Do you know what I mean? I'm under no illusions that probably won't be the case. That they will try and bring back whoever they can.
Well,
I'd love to be in those meetings though, where Regal or whoever's in charge down in NXT Performance Center, Matt Bloom is it sat there with Finn and Nakamura and Samoa Joe, just like, we just don't think you're quite ready yet, guys.
I don't think it's that. I don't think it's that at all.
We need another month in NXT because not for nothing, these NXT guys, they ain't getting paid nearly as much as the main roster guys. We've seen and heard of what NXT contract is.
Yeah.
Well, the Nakamura and Finn Balor were very much different. You heard when they signed, they were very much on main event. They were on main wrestling type deals. Nakamura in particular.
Well, I don't know.
But you're stalling the stalling the development of the next wave of people coming through, aren't they? By these still being down there,
Or are they parting with their wisdom and giving them
exactly? If you're in the
knowledge.
performance centre with Samoa Joe and Finn Balor each and every day, then Jesus Christ, that's a lot to learn of.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that Samoa Joe went down there, to be honest. If anything, about all of them who have gone down, I would have thought he would have been the AJ Styles straight to the main roster kind of.
I think NXT for Samoa Joe has done wonders for him.
Sure, yeah. I mean, when he was last in TNA, he wasn't
revitalized him.
Yeah, he wasn't touching his peaks in the past, and I guess maybe that's why. But I imagine he was quite disillusioned down in TNA.
Well, if you compare him, how he is now, to how he was when he left TNA and even when he first started NXT, he's got his step back. He's never going to be as fast and as agile as he was back in Ring of Honor, but he's got that thing he's been missing for a good few years when he was last in TNA. So I guess there's kind of arguments for and against, to raiding NXT, to turning it, as you say, Stephen, into the season-long run, which I think maybe what they originally wanted to do.
I think we're going to see it. We're going to see some of these former superstars come back. I think as long as it's like not a ridiculous amount, if we're talking like 2 or 3 or 4, and then the rest of it being sort of 5 or 6 NXT superstars, then I think that's probably more than acceptable, to be fair.
Well, can you imagine when it comes to the draft itself, and it comes to the draft and they've not announced anybody returning, and all you hear is, and SmackDown number 3 draft pick is Kurt Angle. Out of fucking nowhere. The crowd would be like, what the fuck? So I think that'd be one hell of a way to get people talking.
Yeah, I like they're going to keep that secret.
But let's move on to some of the NXT call-ups who have done well for themselves, and like Tyler Breeze and the pre-show, whatever that was. The tag team title match, Fatal 4-Way. It was the New Day, it was the Club, it was the Vaudevillains, and Enzo and Cass. What do people think of the match overall? I know when, as you guys watched, said to me as we were discussing it, it seemed a bit potentially iffy in places towards the end. Chelsea.
It was a shambles.
Yeah, I don't think it was the greatest match on the card at all. I mean, I'm not really a fan of like Fatal 4-Way tag team matches. I just think it's a little too hectic.
There's too much going on, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. It wasn't really my favourite match. I can't even remember much about it, to be honest. But I'm happy with the outcome. I didn't think they'd take it off the New Day.
Pretty sure you were calling for a club victory there, Charles, but okay.
No, I said I'd like the club to win.
It's fine, I went with the Vaudevillains.
So at least we know you don't have an insider now, Ollie.
Yeah. Confirmed, no insider, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was a shambles, wasn't it? I mean, from the ending, which was horrific, there was a bit with Enzo. I remember Enzo falling over in the middle of the ring at one point. for no reason
What was
whatsoever.
the ending? What was the ending? Remind
Is
me.
that when Luke Gallows was just stood
Big,
against the ring
big,
rope, wasn't he?
yeah, Big E had Anderson on his shoulders for the big ending, and
Oh,
Gallows
yeah.
stood up in the ring and then stood off him as if he was like, I don't know. He could have sold it like he could have at least put his hand up and shouted, "No, don't do it, don't do it." But instead, he just kind of just stood there awkwardly until about it seemed forever until Big Cass came in and Big booted him out of the ring. And
I think I think there will seem to be some miscommunication between when Cass may have had to get in the ring. Or
yeah,
something.
either Cass was meant to come in a lot sooner, or he had him in the big ending setup a lot quicker than was expected, because it was all awkward, so awkward. But
There's been a lot of botching the last week, hasn't there? Last couple of weeks. Some very poor selling and a lot of botching. Which match was it where the referee where they had to kick him 3 times to make him fall over? It wasn't it wasn't Roman Reigns and Seth. There's been another match where ref's been knocked out recently. Was it the girls' match? Was it the women's match on Raw? Natalia, Paige, and Charlotte.
I know there was one in the tag match with Natalia doing the running or something.
I'll have a look back and I'll come back. But one of them there was where one of the matches this last week on one of the shows. I've watched that much wrestling this week. Where the ref's been hit and rolled out of the ring, but they've missed him completely. It was a terror. He's just sold it terribly. But there's just been so much. I mean, even like the confusion in that tag match where it looked like he counted 4 times, didn't he, on the Vaudevillains on the pin. Although they've come back and they've shown another angle of it, and it was fine. The ref was actually right, and it was the crowd that were out of sync. There was Dana Brooke in one of her matches was terrible recently as well. I think there's the last couple of weeks has been pretty bad for there's been some very shoddy selling.
I'll have to say, when Roman Reigns hit that barricade that didn't fall down, that looked painful.
It's because he hit the wrong one, didn't he? Moron.
because he was double, he was
high. He hit the wrong side. I think he was meant to go on the other side. I think that's what it was.
So fair play to him actually getting up after that.
Yeah, that barrier, it won't break him, will it?
But after the Money in the Bank match, which did see the New Day retain, we got the return of the Wyatt family on Raw and a potential tag team feud set up between the New Day and the Wyatt family. Mike, was this the angle you saw this going?
No, it was super weird, right? The Wyatt's coming back down. We all knew that he was due to come back eventually. I was kind of hoping it'd be without the family. I don't know why. I just think that the family has kind of outlived its usefulness at this point, and if anything, it holds it back because they just used the family as the job squad. And although Wyatt's maybe not necessarily involved in the match, it still reflects on him and the family being weak, which seems unnecessary. So I was a little bit. I was expecting him to come back alone, but that's neither here nor there. The fact that the New Day came down and interrupted them was the biggest shock of all. Like, if I was going to think of anything, I would have thought that it would have been some singles title that would have gone, against or somebody. I don't know. Let's say like Dolph Ziggler, because he's the one who works and then gets jobbed to people, right?
Or yeah, like I say, if it wasn't, he didn't get the title. He was kind of hinted at the WWE title, wasn't he, before he came back, before he got his injury rather. So
yeah, but that's a bit occupied at the minute, though, isn't it? So that's what I would have expected. I definitely did not expect the New Day to come down, and then what I only can assume is that we're going to have maybe the Wyatts coming out as tag champions at some point.
Yes, fucking love it.
But Stephen, don't get your hopes up because he's not going to include Bray.
I was going to say, and they've got history for this. They did it in NXT with Harper and Rowan. They were the NXT tag champs for the bit with Bray Mo as the manager, which could be fun if they kind of keep Bray out of the ring during the weekly shows and now keep him for the pay-per-views as the special guest, as it were. But did anyone catch Xavier Woods' little
Yes.
moments? Was that just the Wyatt family being awfully meta and charming and trying to make a joke of it, or was this potentially leading to one of them kind of joining the Wyatt family?
There's no way that's happening. It's not. There's no chance. That's just the New Day doing the New Day thing, I think.
The only thing I want to see is Xavier Woods to come down with like a stick-on beard on and like a pillow under his stomach and just completely go all out with it. It would be the best thing ever.
A unicorn mask instead of a shield.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it was perfectly New Day though, wasn't it? It was perfectly
Oh,
New Day.
absolutely, absolutely.
Brilliant.
It'll be interesting to see them, work the promos, because we're talking on two completely different ends of the scale here, aren't we? In how these two teams are. So it's going to be really interesting to see the massive, serious, cultish, promos of the Wyatts versus the completely over comedy of the New Day. It's
I've got a really important question about the New Day that I don't think any of us have ever answered before.
Go on.
But Mary's done.
Saw this coming.
I'm not. Yeah, Big E's coming nowhere near me. Although he would be very, very cuddly. So
Steve doesn't like him big.
I having that. No, not a chance. No. Have you seen them thighs?
Bit of KY jelly, Steve, you'll be alright. We'll be walking.
Actually, no.
I've got to marry. I'm marrying Xavier because it's Xavier.
Yeah,
I could do without Kofi.
I think so. He's got funny breasts, hasn't he, Kofi? He's got a funny chest. I don't want to.
So he's got funny breasts.
Yeah, he's got a funny chest. He's got a funny chest. Have you not seen his chest?
Oh no! You're going to ruin Kofi Kingston for me.
Google his chest. Google his chest.
Kofi Kingston chest.
They've had a massive thing about it. They've talked about it on Up Up Down Down. Like
Kofi Kingston Chelsea comes up in the auto. In the auto.
What?
Oh, he does, doesn't he? I see what you mean.
He's got one pec like a different shape to other ones. I'm not interested in that.
Does he need the rock surgery?
He needs some.
Oh my goodness. That's a bit weird.
It's like it's moved over a few seconds.
Anyway.
But that's what I'm doing. I'm marrying Xavier. Fucking Big E. and stunning Kofi.
When are we going to get to the women? This isn't fair.
We haven't talked about them yet. Alright, Stephen, are you ready? Fabulous Moolah, Mae Young, and China. Go.
China goes in the same thing, too big for me. And I don't know what she's got down there, or what she did have down there, should I say.
Have you not watched One Night in China?
Yeah. Sadly, which is why I'm staying away.
Okay. There's a review for the Out of Nowhere website. Steve Allen reviews One Night in China.
I was going to say, could you imagine trying to ask Ross for the permission to do that, but he'd probably be all over it.
I doubt he'd notice. No, I don't think he can pay attention to our wrestling section, so.
Just mark it as explicit, we're fine.
Well,
no one game for that one, no? No? Alright, moving on.
Well.
Sorry, all.
You've thrown me. Let's get on to the Money in the Bank match then, as we kind of talked around it and Dean's cash in. The match itself at the pay-per-view, the six-man ladder match featuring Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, Alberto Del Rio, Chris Jericho, Dean Ambrose, and Cesaro. Mike, I'll start with you because you kind of at the start of the show said you were a bit miffed with the ladder match. Do you want to go into it more in depth?
Yeah, I guess I can do. It was fine and the spots were okay. But for me, the Money in the Bank ladder match has always been a showcase. And there's on the night itself, which I mean, where it started at WrestleMania, there wasn't many times where that wasn't the match where you say, let's think about an event that's just happened, and that isn't the match that you've got most memories of because of something that Shelton Benjamin did, or something that Rob Van Dam did, or something that Kofi Kingston did. But in this one, I don't think I could mention one specific thing that particularly happened. Nobody went through a ladder.
Oh, but Kenny would until he broke his fucking back.
Yeah.
That Mickey driver on the side of the ladder looked fucking painful.
It did look painful, I'll give him that.
Even when he bent back, he's like, fuck.
But where's Kofi Kingston on ladder stilts? That's the kind of thing that stick out to me. Whereas Shelton Benjamin running up the ladder, that was in my mind, that's imprinted. So yeah, I just think it just lacked. It wasn't turned up all the way to 11. It was a mild 6, 7.
Do you think that's because of obviously we had Extreme Rules, didn't we, recently, and we had I can't remember what pay-per-view it was for when Kalisto did the Salida del Sol off of it. We've had quite a lot of those matches recently, haven't we? Or do you think it's down to that, or do you think those 6, how we were talking about not being bored of those wrestlers, regardless of what they've been doing, do you think it was kind of, we actually got to that point where we've seen everything that we could see out of those, because we've had the run, we've had the matches, we've had the interruptions, we've had the attacks on the outside and stuff. Do you think we've finally got to that point where, it was kind of, we've seen enough of those all together and it's left that match being a bit, a bit meh, not, yeah.
I think for me, what it was, and I have to agree with you, Mike, it did seem like it felt like it was missing that one big spot, which I guess is unfortunate to say, but when you come to these, like as Stevie said, these past few matches, ladder matches, multi-man ladder matches, we had the Salida del Sol from Kalisto, so we kind of expect that one big kind of holy shit moment, and it felt like they were very much building up to it with the weird Jenga Kaplunk style contraption they had in the middle of the ring towards the end, but they never delivered on it. They never did anything really with it. It felt like they were going to, with the 3 of them on top of either side, and you're going to see some like Tower of Dooms through the ladders on either side, and I'd be like, holy shit, but it just didn't happen. You just had Kevin Owens kind of land on one of them, and that was that. Is that maybe what it was? Like there was just no big kind of finish, or was it just the overall match?
Charles?
Yeah, I don't think that match was great. I think with the 3 ladders thing, like because nothing came from it, I just think it looked so ridiculous than setting it up. It just looks silly because you don't need a ladder there to climb up. You know what I mean? But no, the match was really missing something, I think. I mean, that Kevin Owens spot was brutal. But again, I think the outcome and what happened with it is the only good thing to take away from it.
Can I also suggest that maybe it was quite short compared to previous ones? Am I the only one who thinks that? I mean, I haven't seen how long it was. I haven't seen a timing sheet, but in my head it seemed not very long. Am I wrong?
I remember a few of the matches from the night being really ridiculously long. I can't remember if that was one of them though.
Well, the show went on for fucking ever.
There was no need for it to either.
Well, it's because they had the 2 pre-show. They had the 2 pre-show matches in the show.
And then they added 2 more pre-show matches as well, didn't they? With the 2 tag team matches that.
I only saw one. What was the first one? I saw Dudley's.
Dudley's versus the Lucha Dragons and Febreze versus Golden Truth.
I didn't see that one.
The Breeze Dango.
Oh, you want to be thankful you didn't see that one.
That
stupid.
Was essentially WWE's commercial for skin cancer awareness with Tyler Breeze and Fandango came down with burnt skin because they were in a sunbed for too long due to shit.
Brilliant.
And they had the weirdest looking makeup special effect thing, and
It was the most stupidest thing I've ever seen in my life.
God, if we've got to win. So
Stupid idiots.
But the Money in the Bank match spilling over into Raw. Well, obviously we've talked about Dean Ambrose cashing in, winning, and the triple threat that's coming. But what we also saw is the reignite. Well, I say reignition. It's kind of never really stopped. But Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn once again seems to be a thing. With, if I'm not mistaken, Sami Zayn got his first win over Kevin Owens on WWE TV, and it was like, hey, that's how literally Michael Cole saw it was, and he's won. Not this is the first time he's beaten Kevin Owens in a WWE ring. That bugged me. What did you guys think of this, the continuation of the feud? Did you want to see it continue so quickly after, or?
I'm really glad that they're now back on track to it just being them two rather than being in like a title feud and stuff like that. The match was really good actually, but I think the end just shows. Like those two, you could literally have them feuding forever, and I don't think there's a chance you could really get bored of it. Like I said, they just have so much chemistry and bounce off each other so well that I'm really happy that. I mean, hopefully we'll get a singles match when it comes to Battleground.
But do you also not think that we didn't need to see that? Why have a singles match? On Raw.
I was going to say, I feel like it's. I know, as you said, Chelsea, we all want to see them feud and we'd love their matches just to kind of go on forever, but it then loses its speciality because like, you kind of want to see them in the ring together and not get it unless it means something, whereas this very felt thrown together and just there for Raw.
Yeah, I'm saying like feuding forever, I mean, even if it's just like a backstage segment or something in a week. But no, I agree. I just think there was no need for that singles match to be on Raw at all. Maybe just have that fight before the match even started or something like that. But
yeah, I mean, you could quite easily have turned that into Sami Zayn was going down to the ring for a match against Fandango. Kevin Owens came out and attacked him, or interrupted the match because in his eyes, Sami Zayn cost him in the Money in the Bank match because he did a Michinoku driver on the ladder. I don't know, anything puts money anyway like that, you know. I was shocked when it showed Sami Zayn walking in the back and it said he was going to go one-on-one against Kevin Owens, and my first reaction was, really?
I think this is basically, I think, what we were talking about with the Shield. We've got to think that there's a lot. I think there's going to be a lot in this next month leading up to Battleground and the matches at Battleground that don't particularly make sense, but are literally closing off stories in terms of, you know, again, what are the chances? I could easily see Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn being on different brands, and then we don't have that match for a while. So
see, that makes sense.
Do you know what I mean? Like that's the only thing I can see is that they've got the plan in place for the development of those two characters, and unfortunately it's not on the same brand, and therefore we're not going to see that match, and we need to push it into this because this is the only opportunity in the foreseeable future that we're going to be able to do that singles match.
Yeah, that makes total sense to me. Could you imagine down the road we have WrestleMania match and it is
exactly
this is the SmackDown versus Raw match maybe this year, or even we have one of them returns to the other show and we get it at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. I have no doubt that them two will face each other at WrestleMania already.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm pretty sure of that. But I think they've got no choice but to carry it on for this month, and it does seem a little dragged out, but this would be the last time that we're going to see it, I think, for a good while. So we should probably enjoy it for next month.
Before we get Kevin Owens versus Insert old wrestler here.
Rey Mysterio.
Yeah.
One thing before we do move on from the Money in the Bank match, I just want to say how fucking hilarious was the Kevin Owens, Chris Jericho, and Del Rio skit before the Money in the Bank match on the pay-per-view. That had me in fucking stitches, their interview, I'm not going to lie.
Go on, Mike.
Kevin Owens is being on fire backstage with everybody, and as is Jericho. You know, the only one who disappoints it all is Del Rio, but he's perfect. You know, he's perfect cannon fodder.
He played the perfect kind of straight man to Kevin Owens and Jericho taking the piss out of him. Oh, but yeah, I just wanted to say, if you've not seen it, go back and watch that because, yeah, just Kevin Owens is sassy to the best of his abilities. But let's move on to something highlighting what Steve said that's been dragged out and unfortunate, is the Dana Brooke and Charlotte versus Natty and Becky Lynch tag match that we saw at the...
There's a fuck Mary Stone for you, Steve.
And you've got a fourth as well, so, you know.
Yes.
Fuck Mary Stone ankle lock.
Let's talk about the match. Talk about the match while I think about it.
Well, there's not much to really talk about the match on the Money in the Bank pay-per-view.
Oh god.
The match happened.
The match happened. The heels won, and Natalya turned heel as well. It was basically all that really needs to be said about this match in terms of what happened in the ring. Were you surprised by the Natty heel turn, anybody, or did you care about the Natty heel turn?
I think I'm at that point now where women's matches are quickly becoming the toilet break match again.
They've had to. Natty's been out this week, hasn't she, and denied that the original plan was for Becky to turn heel, and
I'm so glad they didn't turn Becky heel.
That seems to be the rumour coming out of it, that it was originally planned, and at the last minute they decided to change it to Natty that would turn heel.
I really can't see Becky Lynch working as a heel at all.
She did in NXT for a bit with Sasha Banks.
Yeah, I guess.
But I'm like, if any of them was going to turn, it would be Natty. Although it does leave the women's division very heel heavy. But did you care for Natty turning heel? Do you want to see a Natty versus Becky Lynch feud?
No, but it does. I mean, it wasn't in my mind, but it does give us a second women's match, possibly.
Yeah.
Which, again, nothing features Paige, unless Paige gets Dana Brooke.
Look, Paige is going to finish the year WrestleMania as the champ. That's what, you know.
Are you calling that now, are you?
They're bringing her. No, I won't be so sure. They're bringing her back in, aren't they? She's slowly but surely coming back into it.
I mean, why is she being away? Is it because of Total Divas, Chelsea? Is she being filmed in? What's the deal?
I have no idea. She had a bit of a breakdown on Total Divas. Maybe she's had some time off.
Did you see this? Did you see this article about what happened after Money in the Bank with Paige?
Apparently, that's all bullshit, though, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, the official report is that Del Rio and Paige were out and about enjoying themselves after the show. They went to see a show in Vegas after Money in the Bank. There were two fat people who noticed them and started heckling them.
So Del Rio,
that were me.
Yeah, two fans were heckling them. Paige said, "Look, would you just leave us alone?" This caused the two hecklers to go at them more. Then this got the police brought down, and the police, being the police, had to de-escalate the situation. So just put handcuffs on everybody because they kind of have to at that point. And then they took Paige and Del Rio to the hospital to get checked over and then let go because they knew they weren't doing anything. They just unfortunately were the victims of two hecklers having a go at them.
Well, I'm not surprised if she's going out with Del Rio.
Yeah, you bring that on, don't you?
Absolutely.
Dirty pedo.
The more exciting news for the women's division, though, was we finally saw the return of Sasha Banks on Monday night on Raw.
Yeah, you did.
Now this I care about.
Sasha versus Charlotte for Battleground or SummerSlam, it may potentially be.
Both.
Or both.
Well, no. Singles at Battleground, triple threat with Becky Lynch at SummerSlam. The match that we
should have got a long while ago at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I was going to say, did we get that at WrestleMania? What did we get at WrestleMania?
The
I can't
triple threat
remember.
match.
triple threat, didn't we?
Yeah, we did see it at WrestleMania,
Yeah.
didn't we?
Yeah, I was going to say. I
It's
thought
not that long ago that it didn't. Well, the past 2 months, I seem to have erased it from my memory.
maybe that could be the WrestleMania was a reset into making it shit. Maybe the triple threat can be a reset into making it good again. Oh, the Divas, the women's division need Bob Backlund. Make the Divas division good again.
Make the debut young again.
I would have
Young again.
said the Divas division need Bob Backlund because that.
I don't know about you, but I feel inspired every time I see him.
But will Sasha Banks be the one to dethrone Charlotte? Chelsea?
Of course. Well, yes, she should. Whether she will or not, I don't know whether to get my hopes up, but it's the obvious answer. I think Charlotte can't hold it for much longer, can she? I mean, I think I read somewhere that if the Divas title and the Women's Championship was all together, she's very close or would have beaten Nikki by now. So I think it's definitely due a change.
No.
And Sasha Banks with that belt, like fuck Mary Stun out of those three.
What, including the belt?
I mean, I hear that belt's into a bit of bondage. So. Stun Charlotte. Marry Becky. Sleep with Sasha. But overall, ultimately, ignore them all and go for Paige.
Well, I think we can safely skip over the other matches that are on the undercard of Money in the Bank. I mean, we had Corbin versus Ziggler. Feels like the 10th time.
Corbin's awesome.
Cruz versus Sheamus. But the match that I think we all kind of want to be getting into talking about was John Cena versus AJ Styles. Chelsea, why don't you start us off on your thoughts on this match?
The first time I watched it, I wasn't impressed. I thought it was very slow. There wasn't much like wow about it, I don't think. I watched it again, and I definitely thought it was a lot better than I first thought it was at whatever time it was in the morning. But I don't know, it just lacked something, and I don't know if I should feel bad about saying that.
I kind of agree with you. I very much felt that towards the start, like it was, I don't know, to me it felt clunky, the start of it, like they just weren't.
They were very slow and very, like I don't think they had much chemistry together, which is the real shame.
Yeah, it felt like...
It is, since we're going to get it another 2 times.
Yeah.
But I think after the calf killer, it definitely they finally nailed it, I think. It just kind of went up from there for me. After he calf crusher, as he calls it in the debut, sorry. After that, then it really kind of got...
He calls it what?
The calf crusher, instead of the calf killer, that he called it at New Japan. But no, for me, kind of from there, because I thought, holy shit, are they actually going to make Cena tap out? That's when it hooked me.
Nah.
I know, obviously it wasn't going to, but it finally had me hooked and thinking.
Cena's not tapped out since before he had the never give up mantra. He's not tapped out since then.
No, I think the fact of it being John Cena and then pulling spots like that where is he going to tap out is just ruined when it's John Cena.
I must say though, the slow build-up nature to it. Do you not think this was deliberate?
I was just waiting to chime in. For me, it was the build-up of the story. It was John Cena not able to deal with someone with AJ's wrestling capabilities, having to work out how to, he couldn't get the upper hand in any way over him. All his normal, strength maneuvers weren't working. Everything he tried, AJ had a counter for. And I think that might give it the misgiving of being clunky rather than the fact it was actually telling the story of that Cena was struggling to work out how to break down the way that AJ Styles wrestled.
Mhm. I can definitely
That was certainly the way that I interpreted it when I watched it. Like that's how I saw the match. I really enjoyed the match. If I'm being honest, I thought it was a really good match. But if you'd have asked me first, the first thing I would have said is it told a really good story. So it just shows how you see things. You can see things differently.
I can certainly see it being deliberate and giving a slow build up to what will be ultimately the best match of the lot at SummerSlam, presumably. But one thing that really surprised me about it all was the day after, when kids at school always come up to me and talk to me about wrestling because they know that's what I'm into. They came up to me and said the Cena versus AJ Styles match was boring, and I was like, huh. These are the kids who like Cena, Roman Reigns, and it's no questions asked. And this was the match they came up and actually said they didn't enjoy it. It was boring. I was quite surprised that even 9 and 10-year-old children recognised the fact that this wasn't as good as everyone had hoped. I found that quite interesting.
I think it will definitely. I think it's one of those matches that, upon repeat viewings, I think going into this, I expected them to have instant chemistry, like we saw with CM Punk, John Cena's matches of Punk and Daniel Bryan. I thought we were going to get something very more along those lines, and Kevin Owens. Whereas this was, as you said, Steve, he was telling a different story about John Cena just not getting AJ Styles, and them not clicking. May have been, as you said, and it's what I think. If you listen back to the commentary, they were very much kind of hyping that John Cena just was being frustrated by Styles. So I think if you look at it from a story perspective, from that point of view, I think, as you said, it will look a lot better, and I think it probably is a lot better than I'm probably giving credit for at this moment. I just kind of went in there expecting Cena versus Bryan, and we got something a little bit different, a little more story driven. That I think I just need to go back and rewatch probably. Chelsea, was the same for you, because I know you had similar misgivings about it.
You're going to have to repeat the question.
Yeah, a match that you think you'll like more upon repeat viewing is what I'm trying to get at.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I've already watched it again, and I definitely enjoyed it the second time round more so than the first. Maybe if I watch it again, I'll have a different opinion, but to me, it was the match that I was really, really excited for, and like Steve said, it could just very much just be that first match build-up. So, yeah, hopefully by the time we get to SummerSlam, it's going to be like an A-grade match.
And the shenanigans and interference of the club. Expecting it, wanting it, were you annoyed by it?
Fuck, marry, stunt, Anderson Gallows style.
Yeah. Gallows and Anderson look fun. If you've watched, did any of you watch the Finn Balor stuff on BBC documentary?
Yeah.
They look really fun. And want Gallows on one of the Wrestling Road Diaries?
Don't know about that.
I made that up. I don't know. I kind of like Gallows, and Anderson looks like he'd be a right laugh. Just because I don't think it's the opinion, I'll stun AJ Styles. And I'll marry I'll marry Anderson and fuck Gallows. There you go.
Steve, are you still going to be running scared from Big Gallows?
Yeah. yeah. I'll stun Gallows, and I'll have a night with AJ instead.
If you marry AJ though, you get all of his retro video games collection and his arcades.
I don't think I could deal with his southern twang every day of my life, to be honest.
He'd steal all your hair products too.
Chelsea, you've now met me. You know that I do not need any hair products.
I'm just saying, if I was to marry AJ Styles, he'd steal all my good shampoo.
He has got good hair, hasn't he?
He has what hair?
luscious. It's very kind of.
That is not what I heard. I thought you.
It's kind of like worth it type.
Whoa, no. What did you hear that was so bad?
Well, what did you get from luscious? Well, she's
Come on.
gone. Chelsea.
Come on, Charles. Oh, she's broken.
We've killed her. We've killed her.
She killed herself.
But that really does it for Money in the Bank and Raw this week. Anything else that really stood out for you these past two shows?
The best ever opening to Raw happened this week. Like, Dean Ambrose getting out of that cab was the coolest thing I've ever seen. I just want to say that him with the belt is incredible. I'm so happy that Dean Ambrose is... Like, I didn't think he ever would be, and for him to finally have it, albeit maybe for not very long, I'm really happy to see Ambrose with the belt.
Am I the only one who feels pretty meh about the whole Dean Ambrose champion thing?
Yes.
In what? Not fuss, you mean?
Yeah, I'm just like, all right. You know, when the Shield was the Shield, and everybody was down for Roman, everyone down for Rollins. Ambrose was always my favourite one. Just because he's a bit kooky, a bit weird, but I don't like the fact that he's gone so
crazy.
Comedy with it.
Fan friendly, I guess is the way. I don't know. He seems like he's
crazy with a capital K, not generally crazy, as you kind of think he's meant to be portrayed as.
Yeah, I just wish he was a little more vicious and out there. I don't know. I just felt meh about the whole. Maybe it's just the way it went down, you know. If he had beat Brock Lesnar and if he'd have beat Seth Rollins back when they had their match back when, maybe I would have enjoyed that bit more. But yeah, I don't know. It just seemed a bit cheap.
He's not. Well, I guess like most Money in the Bank winners, he's not really had that hot streak, has he, before he cashed in a Monday thing, did he?
Yeah, I guess so. Was Edge's cash in the first time he won it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I thought so.
When he had it for about a month.
Yeah, cashed in, didn't he? After...
New Year's Revolution after the Elimination Chamber match.
We will see how it plays out and how his reign plays out, but I think it's totally a bad time considering the split. I just was, as I say, I was just pretty meh about the whole switch. Is all.
It'll be an interesting to see how it does play out, and if they do give Ambrose a long reign, or they switch it maybe over to Rollins, or well, who knows, with the draft in a little over 3-4 weeks' time, anything could happen.
Right, that's everything that we need to discuss on Raw. Can I just bring something up from NXT?
Go on.
Nakamura versus Finn Balor. Hello.
It's going to be something, isn't it? We haven't talked about that, have we?
Nope. When the draft was first put down, first assumed, I guess, because the brand split was first announced, and me and Russ did a draft on site, which you can go check out. We did it on the podcast as well, which you can probably check out a few episodes ago. But I picked Nakamura and Finn Balor back to back because I wanted this match, and it was a match that we never had down in NXT. But now we're getting it, and it's going to be awesome. Is this going to be the stipulation match of the event, though? Do you reckon, or do you think they're just going to have a straight one-on-one?
I imagine it'd be
classic, like Nakamura, Sami Zayn kind of match.
I imagine it'd be a straight one-on-one, but are we going to get it at TakeOver, or are they going to do it on a NXT show in the next few weeks?
It's definitely TakeOver worthy.
TakeOver. Yeah, of course, it's going to build up to TakeOver.
But it really doesn't need a stipulation, I don't think. I think that would just completely distract from it.
Yeah, I agree completely. I just wondered. Just wondering out loud.
What stipulation would you put them in?
2 out of 3 falls.
Was
It
that
is-
Iron Man match.
Iron Man. Yeah.
Yeah, Iron Man.
Anything that doesn't involve weapons, basically, doesn't need it. Just get them wrestling for an hour.
They could definitely do it. I'm more than certain they could definitely wrestle for an hour.
I'd love to see.
Finn's on a right losing streak though, isn't he? So he needs to win.
It could be similar to Sami Zayn on his way out, you know? Everyone gets
Yeah.
before they head up.
The next takeover is SummerSlam, isn't it? SummerSlam weekend.
Yes. Yes, it
So
is.
yeah, that would set up a really nice last Finn Balor match in NXT. Hello, Monday Night Raw after SummerSlam.
Or SmackDown, depending which one he says to go into.
That's how is that going to work now when they call up superstars?
Whichever one needs a wrestler.
I'm sure they'll find some way to do it. The latest signing to SmackDown or latest signing to...
Free agents, Chelsea, at this point. You do the draft and then the rest are just free agents waiting to be snapped up.
I just really need to see who goes. I don't want to wait like another 3 weeks of just thinking about it.
Well, unfortunately, we've all said we've got to wait until July 19th for the upcoming draft. And
I hope they make the entire SmackDown SmackDown show one massive draft.
Yeah, because they've not said how they're going to do it, have they? Unless
No.
they give the press release.
Like the first ever draft, well, it probably wasn't the first ever one, but the first one that I can remember, when Ric Flair was drafting for
That was the first
Raw.
one. That was the
It
very
was
first
the first one, wasn't it?
They had on the show each
And there was 20 picks on that show. 20 picks, and I just can't imagine WWE now not having, not having wrestling matches
to determine.
as
Yeah.
opposed to just having backstage segments of picks. It'd be weird.
I'd love to see it though, and have like as they do in like the NFL drafts, like actually show like the war rooms with like all of like the stuff laid out, contracts and stuff like laid out, showing who they're going to go with where, and this Team SmackDown and Team Raw. But
I guess the question is, it depends who the general manager is.
well, I think we can save that one for next week and guess who the general manager is, because I think we've ran for quite a long time actually tonight. So, Mike, where can people find you?
You can catch me at JangoBob96 on Twitter.
Chelsea?
Fight Chelsea fight.
Stevie?
Just on here.
The elusive man, as it were. Cool. And if you want to get in touch with me, just go to the Out of Nowhere pod, at Out of Nowhere pod on the Twitter, Out of Nowhere podcast at gmail.com for emails. If you like all what we hear and like video games, movies, and other forms of entertainment, then please go check out the website outoflies.net. We also have our own t-shirt page, which is www.tpublic.com//outofliespodcast, where you get all our logos from the Out of Crossfire to Tanked Up to Out of Heroes, which is coming very, very soon. So yeah, go check out outoflies.net, and we will catch you as always each and every Wednesday at 8:30 here on YouTube and Google+. Peace.
Peace.